Good morning, everyone. My name is Anaya McKenzie, and I'd like to thank the Democratic Party for nominating me to represent them.
Anaya for president, yeah!
It is also a special honor to be competing for the gold against two formidable candidates, Zach Reeve and Ethan Ambler. I look forward to a challenging race. For those of you who don't know me, you may see me as just an ordinary person walking down the hallways of Foothill. You'd be correct. However, it is because of this fact that I am qualified to run this country. I have seen the needs of the people firsthand and know how to make a change. First off, I believe there needs to be a change in this nation's economy. Instead of allowing businesses to heal themselves, the government needs to give them a system of creating equality-based, rising income jobs with paid maternity and longer paternity leave. This way we can help families get back into the workforce and help minimum wage earners make a sustainable living. Also, there's an unreasonable gap between the lower, middle, and upper classes. Some people are living on the street because they aren't able to make a living wage, while 16-year-olds while 16-year-olds who have never worked a day in their lives are buying multiple million-dollar homes. This is not right, and quite frankly, it's ridiculous. What America says we're about is if you work hard enough, you will have a prosperous life. But that is not always the case. I believe that increasing the minimum wage, as well as raising the upper classes' taxes, within reason, will help close the gap between the economic classes.
All right.
I also believe that we need to help the veterans who help keep this country safe when they return from war. There are so many veterans living on the streets because they cannot find jobs, which means that those who suffer from PTSD or other war-related disabilities aren't able to pay for their medicine or medical care. Because they can't afford their medicine, they are not able to be hired by companies, and the circle continues. We as a nation need to help those who give their lives to keep us safe and protected by ensuring them they have a life to come home to complete or that they have a life to come home to, complete with a career, not just a job, and also medical care if needed. As of today, there are two major national security threats. First, there's a huge problem in Syria, forcing refugees that are in dire need of our help. They have nowhere to go and no one to turn to. They essentially have no country now. So we, as human beings and as Americans, should offer ours to share and provide a safe, accepting plan for them to live, or a safe, accepting place for them to live if they choose to. Secondly, terrorism is also a considerable and frightening issue because you never know when the next attack on our nation will be. To combat this, I plan to send members of the CIA to terrorism-targeted countries so that we can capture the suspected radicals and ensure not only the safety of our friends and family, but the safety of all. On domestic affairs, it's imperative that the U.S. put an end to the prejudice that continues to grip this nation. Being the first female president, I would want to change the fact that this truly is a man's world, and fight for all women to have equal pay and rights, including the right to choose. Abortion is a very sensitive subject, but it is no one's right to tell anyone what to do with their own bodies. Even if abortion were to become illegal, that doesn't mean it will stop occurring, because if we make it illegal, women will start trying to go around and doing it in painful, more, what's the word? Less or more unsafe ways. That doesn't mean it will stop occurring. Some argue that the government should stop funding Planned Parenthood, but that is not an option for women. If abortion is safe and affordable, it is a viable option for women and girls who have simply run out of options, especially in cases of rape. The gender wage gap needs to be closed, and families deserve the paid leave they have waited so long for. Racial profiling and police brutality needs to come to an end. Police shootings and brutality have been progressively getting worse over the last few years. Just this year, there has been a 6% increase in deaths by police, with more than half of the victims that were shot and killed being minorities. This has to stop. You're here to protect American citizens, not gun them down. And with a harsher enforcement of the law on the killers of police officers and racially prejudice police officers. Furthermore, to combat the misuse of guns, the Mackenzie administration will set up gun purchasing regulations and more thorough background checks, resulting in a safer environment for America and its children.
Yeah, Mackenzie administration! And we're third.
In terms of immigration, we want to strengthen the enforcement of immigration laws while still allowing families and refugees to come into our country. Our goal is to not simply reject illegal immigrants, but rather give them the chance to legally build a better life in America. Too many people have been suffering from oppression, and it is time for everyone to be treated equally, no matter their gender, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or economic class. It is time for the idea that all men are created equal to become all are created equal, and it is my job and my privilege to do so. As someone who lives in California, I know firsthand that our environment is in danger. Despite what some may say, global warming exists and it is a serious concern, especially in this recent drought. And it is because of our carelessness that it has begun to take over and disrupt our lives. We are releasing an excessive amount of gas into the atmosphere from the cars we drive and the factories we employ. We need to find a more sustainable energy source so that we can prevent these gases from being released into the air. I plan to continue the funds for the EPA, which stands for Environmental Protection Agency, so they can continue researching cleaner sources of energy, as well as educate us on what we can be doing to help protect our world. By doing this, the Mackenzie administration will also in turn create more jobs. So not only will we be helping the environment, we'll also be helping the people that live in it. 8 years ago, we elected the first African American president, an amazing feat that even Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have never imagined. Let us continue this streak of monumental progress, break that glass ceiling, and elect our first female president. Before I end this acceptance speech, I want to leave you all with an important question. Do you want yet another president of white male superiority, or do you want a president that represents the needs of all of America? Thank you.
Yeah,